in Gombe. If you look at your agenda, you see that the program is structured to last about 4 hours. We'll try to work within time limits. Time will not permit us to begin to do individual introduction. But at every point, you need to make a comment or you need to ask questions. I will appreciate if you tell us your name, the differences between where we started, how we did the project, and at the end, how much knowledge of the project we now have. So the ushers will share with you the question, just answer in 7 minutes and return back to them. Mr. Additional, please take the lead.
Thank you, Mr. Amos. Representative of Honorable Commissioner, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. My name is Mr. Babatunde Adesina. I am the Monitoring, Evaluation, Accountability and Learning Officer for the project. The pre-test that is before you is just general information about your knowledge of the project before this workshop. So just like the facilitator has said, after the workshop, before you go, we shall do a post-test. It is a quality assurance measure. It's also to measure your satisfaction. We shall also do an evaluation. Please kindly fill out the pre-test and return it to us. So I'm waiting for you to complete it up and collect it back. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Like the presenter said, my name is Ahmed Sagir, representing Bank of Industry from Bauchi. Representatives from the financial and state government, as well as the various government agencies, trade and commerce, finance, women affairs, SMEDEN, and representatives from the Bank of Industry, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, here today, physical and virtual. It is my distinct pleasure to be here today at this promotion workshop and to deliver a good message. This is the second of 3 workshops that will take place across the country, the purpose of which is to officially launch and raise awareness about the Brave Women Nigeria project. I'm delighted that we are coming together to support women and women business activity at a time like this, when we require steady input from all elements of society to ensure sustainable growth and the development of our great country. Women play a central role in ensuring stability, progress, and long-term development in economies. Globally, they comprise about 43% of the world's agricultural labor force, rising to 70% in some countries. For instance, across Africa, 80% of agricultural production comes from small farmers, most of whom are rural women. Thus, women play a key role in reducing poverty. Despite these advantages, the reality is that our women do not receive as many opportunities as men. In fact, women are less likely than men to have access to financial institutions. It is reported that only 55% of women have an account at a formal financial institution compared to 65% of men. To address some of these challenges, the World Bank, in collaboration with governments from 14 countries, established the Women Entrepreneurship Finance Initiative. The Brave Women Program is one of the initiatives birthed by WAFI, and it has been executed in Nigeria by the Bank of Industry on behalf of the Islamic Development Bank Group, ISDB. I would allow the project manager to speak more on Brave Women in Nigeria. The Brave Women Nigeria project is part of BOI's larger mandate and efforts to support women-run businesses in Nigeria. BOI is Nigeria's oldest and most successful DFI, Development Finance Institution. Our mandate is to provide financial assistance for the establishment of micro, small, medium, and large enterprises. We also support the expansion, diversification, and modernization of existing enterprises and rehabilitation of existing ones. Accordingly, we play a significant role in supporting Nigerian businesses by providing innovative financial support, mostly through single-digit interest rates, long tenure periods, and a reasonable moratorium period. Inadequate support for MSMEs often affects women disproportionately, making it more difficult for them to become successful entrepreneurs. Hence, this demography of entrepreneurs are given added focus and support by the bank. BOI has an established gender desk which caters specifically to female entrepreneurs. We have successfully disbursed close to 100 billion naira to over 1,500 women-led enterprises. In addition to financial support, the gender desk also provides much-needed business advisory and capacity-building services. Leveraging our strategic partnerships with more than 300 business development service providers and BDSPs nationwide. BOI is also collaborating with the AFDB to launch the 300 million naira of our fund, an initiative that is expected to unlock $3 billion in private sector financing to empower female entrepreneurs through capacity building development. The fund will grant women access to finance as well as spearhead legal policy and regulatory reforms to support enterprises led by women. Furthermore, the bank invested $10 million in the Alethea Fund, also towards supporting women-led businesses. These are just a few of the initiatives the bank is leveraging to support female entrepreneurship. As we continue with the events of today and the next few weeks, I want to close by encouraging you all to view BOI as an able and willing partner to spur entrepreneurship and development in Nigeria. Personally, I believe that the sustainable growth and development of the Nigerian economy cannot exist without equal participation from every citizen, male and female. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that speech. I want to lend my voice by way of encouraging the women in the house. Studies have shown that for every fast-growing economy, women are the key drivers. Kilsenberg et al., 1995. According to them, household income in the hands of women are either invested in one form of IGA or the other, and as such, the family is always liquid. At all times, the family is liquid. 75% of income of the women is spent for the household need, especially for their children's welfare, the children's education, the children's well-being. They are advocating that women should not just be allowed to be keepers of household income, but they should be given that disposition, they should be given that liberty to invest the money in any form of IGA. And as so doing, the women will support the family, and not just the family, the economy at large. I want to support you, I want to encourage you today that at the end of this project or promotional workshop today, for those of us who have not applied, please make it a point of duty, find your applications, share the link with every woman in this Gombe State and across board, so that we will give the donor $1 million reason why this project should be extended, or there should be a second phase of this project in Gombe State and other parts of the country. So permit me to quickly request that we spend 10 minutes while we take our group photograph out there. Thank you very much.
No, I can see it. Okay, you came earlier. Yeah, just too early like that. Okay.
And I will take the opportunity once again to thank you all for coming, to welcome everyone. I will be doing the presentation in English for the benefit of not just those of us in the room, but those of us online. But I know my colleagues will help out with the Hausa translation as well, so that those of us who are not as comfortable with English will be able to follow, proceedings on the day. So as Amos has said, the basis of this presentation really is for me to take us through what the project is. I'm sure over the last few weeks we've all heard brave. We've heard different things about it. But what we want to do now is make sure that those of us who are participating in this workshop, whether you are online or whether you are in the room, you'll be confident enough, you have a clear sense of what the project is about, and you will be ambassadors for spreading correct information, and then you can also take action as need be yourselves. So on that note, I will start with my presentation. So in terms of background, brave, it's not the word brave, although we do like the meaning, being courageous, putting yourself out there. But brave in this context stands for Business Resilience Assistance for Value-Adding Enterprises. And of course, we're focusing on businesses owned and led by women here in Nigeria. So that's where we get the Brave Women Nigeria from. The project is part of the Women Entrepreneurs Finance Initiative. And it's funded through the Islamic Development Bank. They are the implementing partners for us on the project. And BOI, the Bank of Industry, are the local, what we call the local executing agency. So they are the ones who take overall responsibility for driving and implementing the project in Nigeria. Brave aims to do mainly capacity building, so there will be trainings, business advisory support, there will be business clinics, there will be business-to-business events for beneficiaries. But aside from that is a grant matching scheme made available for beneficiaries. I'll talk about those a bit more. And the point of doing all of that is to help businesses not just grow, but be resilient. Resilient means that regardless of the challenges, right? I'm sure all of us will agree, between what's happening with Boko Haram, COVID issues, forex issues, all of that, it's a hard time for a business, right? But even with all of that, our businesses can still thrive and do well. Last year with the lockdown, many businesses closed their doors, people lost jobs. But the same last year in this Nigeria, many businesses that the support provided by this project, whether it's with the trainings or the grant matching support, helps our beneficiaries, to develop that kind of strength, that resilience that will allow you do well, stay open, stay operational, maybe even make profit when things are supposed to be difficult for everybody. Just a bit more in terms of background, it's useful for us to know that there's a Brave Women Nigeria, but there's also Brave Yemen. So there's a sister project in Yemen who have, had a similar experience to what we're having. They started back in 2018, if I remember correctly. And I'm sure for those of us who've been following the news, we know that Yemen has been in conflict for close to, if not more than a decade. But they've been able to do something similar to what we are going to do here in Nigeria, and they've recorded some degree of success. So there's, that's hope for us here in Nigeria. And it's useful to also know that there's also a sister project in Burkina Faso. So just as we are starting and getting ready, Burkina Faso are also getting ready and preparing. Probably around this time next year, they'll be doing something similar to what we are doing now. They'll be at this stage. So it's useful to know we are not alone. There are other countries getting this sort of support, and they are succeeding. And we hope we will succeed just as they have as well. And it's also useful to know the reason we can have this project is because our government has signed an agreement back in 2020 with ISDB. And everything we need to do, the trainings, the grant matching, we need to do all of that by 2023 for this phase of the project. Useful to note, I'm sure we've been seeing online, we've been hearing, there are 3 focal states, particularly when we think about our SMEs, the small, medium enterprises that are owned or led by women. Kano, Gombe, Edo are the places we are focusing on for now. By God's grace, if this phase is successful, there should be a scale up. We'll look at increasing, expanding to other states. But it's useful to point out that for business associations and lead firms, that requirement to be based in any of these 3 states is not binding. But again, we'll talk about that in a bit more detail. Let me not jump the gun. So who are our potential beneficiaries on this project? I always, I love, when we're talking, we talk about, and it's true, women are 50%, about 50% of our population. If our economy, if our society is going to do well, if we are serious about development and ending poverty, it doesn't make sense. Again, the analogy of you have a football team. A football team is supposed to be 11 people on the pitch. When you refuse to engage women and support them to contribute, what we do is the equivalent of you keep 5 players on the bench and you only play with your goalkeeper and 5 other people on the pitch. So if you want the full 11, you bring your 11 players on the field so that you know that you succeed. But with that said, I need us to take note that it's firms that are the beneficiaries. So it's not you as a woman, it's your business.
But I have some questions generally on our members. Let's say I have a company registered with CSE. I am the executive director of the company, but in the list of my directors, there is a woman. Can I take her to lead this program so that she can apply on behalf of the women in the company? Or I can apply myself as a chief executive officer of the company? The second one, the capacity building training that will be given to the beneficiaries. As I see in these flyers, we should fill the form or request for the capacity building training before we apply for the grant. This capacity building, can it be done online, or it can be done like as the way that we are being here? If it is like that, I will have suggested that the training has to do with our local languages. if we want our rural women to benefit from this program. Because we have so many rural women that have been in the business. They don't have knowledge to package their products. And they don't have knowledge to know who is going to assist them financially. So, such training, I'm suggesting that we can do it in different languages so that they will understand. Then the women of Gombe State will be part of the beneficiaries. Finally, I want to appreciate the initiators of this program, and I want to congratulate Gombe State women for being selecting Gombe in the pilot state in Nigeria. I hope all our women will benefit from this program. Thank you, and God bless.
Alhaji, now to your question. So let me answer the first one first. You are the CE, you are the executive director of the company. There's a woman on the board. The answer to your question is, for us, what we'll be looking at is, first of all, how much stake, how much ownership does Madam have in the company? So that's where things like the certificate of corporation, or if it's a business name, there needs to be a document that shows us clearly the stake that everybody has. Madam needs to have at least 30% stake in the company, so that's one. Secondly, what is Madam's role on the board? Is she, you are the executive director, but is she, I don't know, is she chief executive, is she your VP? Does she play a key role? That's number two. Then another thing we're looking at is, on your board, Madam represents how many percent? Is she 20, are there 20, are the number of women on the board 20%? Is Madam alone constituting 20%, or is she 10%? Women, so those are the kind of things we'll be looking out for. So depending on the answers to this question, we may or may not accept you. The interesting thing is, a man might even submit the application on behalf of the firm, but that's not enough basis to disqualify. What we are interested in is evidence of female leadership or ownership in that criteria among the other criteria that has been mentioned. So that's number one. Then number two, you asked about the trainings. Good news for all of you, it's not going to be me that will be doing the trainings. The BDSOs that will be selected on the basis that they have command of the languages that are spoken in your state. So again, apologies, don't mind me and my plenty grammar. We will speak Hausa as well, so that those of us that don't have as good a command of English will be able to follow. So yes, the trainings will be done in languages that are comfortable for our participants. It will be the BDSOs that will do this, and there will be BDSOs that are already operational or used to doing business in Gombe. So they know the people of Gombe, they know the issues here, they understand how to organize the trainings. And yes, we're leaning towards physical trainings. They will be here in the state, so they won't be online necessarily. So I hope I've been able to answer your question to some degree of satisfaction.
My question is, for women, most of the women we don't keep record of our sales. Like you asked of the sales of 2020, and during the COVID, most of the businesses were totally down, and we were not able to keep records. All we were trying to do is to just produce little things and dispose them within. So we were not able to keep record. And we were asked to put the record of 2020 in the questionnaire. That is number one. My question number two is that there are some women that they're doing good, but we don't, they are not, it's like they don't have the record, not record, the businesses are not registered. Like those women, how do you cope with them? And third, the NAFDAC registration, we registered with NAFDAC, but in most cases we don't have it in one document. Each product has its number. In that case, how can we upload the NAFDAC registration to the questionnaire? Thank you.
Thank you for those questions, madam. Very specific, very practical. So the first question you asked was about record keeping. My response to that is, when we say record keeping, I know most times what comes to people's minds is, you call an auditor, maybe you have an Excel spreadsheet, or if, even SAP and all of that. That's not what we're talking about. Just as you said, Madam Buki, we recognize that a lot of the businesses that we're hoping to capture are not necessarily formalized. They are not registered with CAC yet. They may not be keeping advanced records. But I always tell people, you cannot convince me that there isn't some form of record keeping. Even if it's a notebook, and you write in the notebook, this is how much we spent, or so and so is owing me, or I'm owing so and so. That's record keeping. Sorry? Or the place where you are doing your business, even if it's in your house, rent is being paid, right? You are paying AEDC, sorry, not AEDC, it's AEDC in Abuja. You are paying electricity bill. All these things are transactions. Many of us don't have a business account, but we use our personal account. Bring your bank statement, if that's the account that money goes into and comes out from.
The head of the business.
Account
of the head of the business.
Yes, because again we recognize that, and in some instances, some people may not even have proper bank accounts. You keep cash. But your money moves, and you take note of how your money moves in and comes out. That's what we need to see. So it doesn't need to be, you don't need to have gotten an accountant to, it doesn't need to be that. If you are doing that, glory be to God. But if you are not, there's still some form of record that you have. Let's have a look at those. We just need to be able to satisfy ourselves that this is a business that, operated. Then to your point of last year being difficult. Last year was difficult, but if, as you said, at least, you were paying those electricity bills, you were buying some things, there wasn't much cash flow, but you were still operating. When we say operating, it just means at least you were, if it's rice, we still saw that you processed some rice, even if you didn't get too many orders. There's evidence that the business, there was some movement. And then of course we know because of lockdown, all those things, last year may not have been a very good year for some of us. Let's see what you have. That would be my response to that. Then the third question you raised about, you have your NAFDAC numbers in separate documents. Again, this is a bit more like ICT related, but I know it's possible for you to, whether take pictures or you scan. The cyber cafes can help you. Somebody that knows how computers well can help you. It's possible to take all those separate documents and create a single, they call it PDF document. So with that one, you can even take 5 million documents and create a single file. That would be my suggestion for that. And as I said, there are individuals that can help you. So you want to bring together 3 or 4 documents as a single upload. There's a way to do it, is what I'm saying. So, and again, I will use this opportunity to say, if you need help, approach the BOI State Office. Mr. Amos is there, our colleagues are there, they can help, guide us, not just on the sort of questions and these issues that have been raised, but on other points as well. So, Madam, I hope I've dealt with all three of your questions. Thank you.
Good morning, all. My name is Badamosi Folusho, the CEO of Foster's Graded Ventures. Ma'am, please, I want to ask what's the deadline for the online registration, because there has been a lot of rumors that it's closing on the 30th of this month. And then the second question is, for those who are into agriculture and they are not into processing per se, we have quite a number of women who are into livestock feed sales, catfish farming, and livestock farming generally. How will they get to benefit, because they are not into the processing line? And then finally, for the disbursement of the funds, what is the time frame likely to be between the time you deposited your own counterpart funding and the time the organizations that will be helping will release the equipment, in order not to crash our business in trying to help us?
I just want to seek further clarification on the qualification of business association. How do you define a business association based on this ground? Nigerian Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture is a business association. Miners Association of Nigeria, that is registered with the State Government Ministry of Cooperative, is a business association. Does these two categories of business association qualify for this grant? That's my question.
The reason why the Miners Association would not be eligible is because they are not one of our priority sectors. Yes, but no, I get the principle. So we have NASIMA, we have one that's recognized by the state. Cooperatives, we consider our cooperatives to be business associations for the purpose of this project as well. So again, thank you for the question, because it's allowed us to clarify. We were going to cover it in the following presentation on selection criteria, but we've already addressed it now. So yes, our corporate, for us, a business association is anybody where the members, come together because they have shared business interests. And again, as we said, the ideal thing is that they are registered. But even if they are not, and we can see proof that they've been active for at least 12 months, and then by the time they are applying for the grants, they should have gotten themselves formally recognized and registered. Again, we'll say, please send your applications now. If you know you meet all the other eligibility criteria, and then get to work with your registration with the necessary bodies.
So that is a very good and happy news, because more of the women I know, they register with cooperative societies. That issue has been cleared. The second issue is about foundation. We also have education foundation, health foundation, that renders services on health and educational issues, not necessarily company or profit-owned company. They are mostly humanitarian services and non-profit organizations. I don't know also these categories of association or organization can also be benefit from these services or this package.
They are non-profit bodies. Our business associations, NASIMA, rice processors, and so on, are bodies, business member organizations. Our cooperatives are similar in that respect. What brings it together is that they are all organizations that are in the business of making profit, right? So those are the categories we're targeting. But if it's a body that's together purely for humanitarian or community services, as you said, but there's no profit-making objective, then they are not part of the categories that we're considering. So that's your second question. To the first question, I'm not CAC, but I am aware that CAC now has 3 categories of formalization. In fact, there's a gentleman from CAC here who I think will do better justice to answering this than myself. I am aware that the process of formalization is not as strict as it used to be, but sir, please, if you can help us verify.
The representative of the state government, the regional manager, Bank of Industries, the initiator of this wonderful initiative, Brave Nigeria, my fellow participants, good afternoon. My names are Hassan Usman, Senior Manager, Administration and Human Resources, Corporate Affairs Commission, Gombe here. Basically, Corporate Affairs Commission as a body is responsible for company registration, business undertakings. Any business that exists, it has to be legally registered for it to operate. If you are not registered with Corporate Affairs Commission, I am afraid whichever body you want to deal with or go into business will be afraid of your operational undertakings. In the light of this, basically we have 3 types of registration under Corporate Affairs Commission. We have the business name, we have the limited liability, and we have the Part C of the registration, which is NGOs, or non-governmental organizations, or in other words, trustees or foundations. Now, business names are smaller companies registered under the auspices of the CAC, and the requirements are as follows. 1, 2 proposed names of the company. 2, the business location, that is the location of the business. 3, the residential address of the proprietor. 4, you need the telephone number of the proprietor. 5, you need the email address of the proprietor. Then we also need the means of identification of the proprietor. That is either international passport, driver's license, permanent voter's card, or national ID photocopy. We also need the passport photograph of the proprietor. So these are the requirements for business name. What of the signature? Signature is also, it has to be there also. Thank you very much for the update. Thanks for reminding me. Then the limited liability companies. All these are companies that are registered with RC numbers on the certificates. You always see RC number. When you see RC number, it signifies or indicates that the company registered is a limited liability and is registered according to the share capital of the business. Either 1 million share capital, 2 million share capital, 3 million share capital, 1 billion, 1 trillion, as the case may be. And there has to be what we call allotment of shares. The shares of company must be allotted. However, where all other requirements are inclusive. In front of the name of company for limited liability, after the name of the company, for example, Brave, for example, you say Hassan Usman, General Merchant, you see limited or LTD. That signifies that this company is a limited liability company registered in Corporate Affairs Commission with having undergone the various registration requirements. Then, with the third one, which is Part C, is the one registered as what we call NGOs, or non-governmental organizations. This is mostly registered to serve humanity, for humanitarian services. It's a non-profit organization. Mostly it has to do with the issues that have to do with empowering widows, the IDPs, and the less privileged, the vulnerables. So this is the part C of the registration criteria or category we have in Corporate Affairs Commission. More on to this. If a company is not registered, like I said a while ago, if a company is not registered, I am afraid whichever organization you want to deal with, they cannot go into any business with you because it has not been legally registered, and as such it could not operate within the auspices of Corporate Affairs Commission. So your company must be registered for it to undergo any business undertaking with whoever you want to engage into business with. I wouldn't know whether I've responded to the questions you want me to address. Go to our website, www.csc.gov.ng. And if you wish to come to our office, you can come to our office located at number 7, David Mark Street, Bubashongo quarters, as federal locus Gombe here. If you want any other clarification in respect of that, you want to register, you can come straight to the office. We'll be in a better position and we'll help you through.
If there's no evidence that the business has been operating for at least 12 months, even if you go and you did your CAC and it's not up to 12 months, you wouldn't be eligible. Sorry, sir, you have a question. Okay, you can discuss with him over the mic. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions. I think we'll take this time now and then go for break as some of our brothers here will need to observe their prayers. So we'll be back in the next few minutes. So if you look at your agenda, you will see the time that we'll be back. So we can come on time and make use of our time. So we close on time. The business must be halal based. It must be in line with Islamic doctrine. We will not allow you, we don't go into business that violate Islamic principles. No nightclubs, not the alcohol kind of business. You don't sell pork and all of that. It should be duly registered in accordance with the laws of the federal government. We recognize registration from CAC. One of the reasons we have to register this business is because we want to make sure all informal sectors in Nigeria is formalized. By so doing, we are also increasing the revenue and also scaling up the businesses in Nigeria. The business owners should have a valid license or other forms of identification. There should also be rental receipts for business premises. You have a business. Even if you are not the owner of the shop, you pay rent. You bought items. They will the item to you. So all of these receipts, they are evidence for you that we are requiring for you during registration. The business should be credit worthy. You should have what it takes to request for credit. You should be able to pay back such credit. The business should be in the selected sectors supported by BRAVE. We mentioned the thematic areas or sectors that the project will support in areas of health, education, agribusiness, fashion and textile, and energy. So whatever business or enterprise you are embarking on should be in these sectors. Fulfilling these criteria make the SMEs eligible for the first stage for which the business continuity plan training. Of course, 600 women or women-led enterprise will be selected to receive the business continuity training. After which 500 out of the 600 will be selected to receive the grant matching fund.
Is it out of the 600?
Yes.
Okay.
And across these 3 states. That is why I encourage every woman here even the ones that are not here, let all of us begin to flood in our application here. I wouldn't want a situation whereby out of the 600, then Egdo and Kami is taking the larger proportion. No. I would prefer to take the larger proportion. So that's why I want us to begin to flood in our application. Duly completed application data. All of this will be factored into as a criteria for you to assess the grant matching fund. Business continuity plan. The BDSOs will train you or will teach you and will support you and guide you on how to draw up the business development plan. Agreement data. Duly open account with partner banks. I'm aware we have a representative from Access Bank, Wema Bank, and then Giants Bank in the building. These persons will also be a part of the grant drawing panel that will decide on whether you are eligible or not. One, if you have an account with them, really open in the name of your business that qualifies you. Because we are not dealing with you as an individual, they are dealing with your business. You are different from your business. KYC from the bank. The partner bank will tell us, actually, KYC means know your customer. They will tell us, yes, this customer has been verified. We know this customer very well. We can attest to the fact that, yes, she is eligible. Sometimes the bank, they go as far as doing extended due diligence. They go to know your house. They want to know your house beyond you giving them utility bills that carry the address of your house. They go there to see the house where you stay. Especially when they see that there are volumes of transactions that will have to come into your account to avoid the stories and such. A very important criteria is the ability of the enterprise owner to pay the matching fund equivalent to the project fund. This ranges from 5,000 to 50,000 USD. You said you are interested, you want to be a beneficiary, but you cannot afford or you cannot raise the matching grants. There's nothing wrong if you can borrow. The partner banks, they are into business. If they want, because they know the source of, or maybe the source of repayment, because they are buying equipment for you, they can use that equipment as a collateral to give you facility if they want, but I don't know that. You can take facility or loan from your spouse, your family members, from your association. Why are you a member of association? So if your association can support you, I think that's fine. So if you have questions, maybe just write down your question or probably share it online. You'll get a response. Okay, this is the selection criteria for business associations and cooperatives. To us here, business association and cooperative, for the purpose of this project, we see them as one. Okay? Even though I understand that there's variation in their mode of operations. There are 4 key thematic areas that we look at in assessing the eligibility of business associations and cooperatives. 1, in terms of their financial strength. 2, their location. 3, willingness to make investment. 4, ability to reduce transaction costs and economies of scale. 1, financial strength. The financial strength here is the ability of the business associations or cooperatives to provide the grant matching support of 40 or 50,000 USD as the case may be. If an association says they cannot afford to raise 40,000 from Lagos, another from Kaduna, and then Ilorin also, you can see the linkages between these 2 actors. Agro, I've forgotten the name of this, she wants to be their names. I think they are part of my lead firms. I spoke with them directly. So you can see she has a linkage with this lead firm. She also takes to Taraba, Bauchi, Adamawa. You can see the linkages there. So a lead firm should have this capacity. Let there be linkages, creating linkages within firms or business enterprises. play anchor role in value chain as events by capacity to set rules or command sufficient volume of value chain products. We say lead firms and value chain influencers. They turn things around within a short time in the area of business. There are some lead firms, by the time they come around, they see there are a lot of maybe orange farm here. This oranges are not there. And then somebody look at it and buys them off. Tomorrow you see a new brand of juice in Gombe State, you begin to wonder. That's what the lead firm can do. Thank you. If you have your question, can you please
ask the question? I suggest that this presentation should be sent to our email so that we can go through it before we apply for the facilities. I don't know if we have the same business we have been doing without registration before, and now we decide to form a cooperative just to benefit this particular program. So how are we going to do? Because we may get a new certificate of registration, maybe by tomorrow or by next tomorrow. Then when we apply, we have the knowledge of the business, we have everything, we know everything about the business, we have the capital, but we only don't have the legal backing. So as we came to this program, we decided to register our group as a cooperative for us to benefit this program, as we don't have a CSC certificate and any other legal issue.
Okay, thank you for the question. I think the business, first and foremost, was owned by individuals, and then we want to form into a cooperative to take advantage of the fact that there's a brave project in Gombe.
Yes.
That's to tell you the business is not 1 year, so it's not eligible. Any other? I want to assume most of us will ask the questions with our bags previously, or even heard, okay.
My question is, by most of the women, mostly we northerners, you can see that you are married to a person in a different state, and you registered your company in a different state, and this is my state, Gombe, and I registered my business in Jos. Is there any problem with that? And the business is going on here in Gombe, but most of my registrations are only in Gombe. In Jos, but the business is still here, Jos and Gombe. How is it?
Okay, thank you. So now there is evidence that the business is here. You have evidence like receipts for the rent, for the shops you are making payment for. You have maybe other goods bought here, or even if you bought it just and they are delivering to you here in Gombe, it's clearly stated in the delivery notes, right? It's an evidence.
Okay. In the case that you are operating in your own house, where you don't pay any rent, how is it going to?
Just like I said, it's possible you do not pay rentage, as you said, but you buy raw materials. There's receipt upon purchase of the raw material. Sometimes you sell out to somebody, right? And then there is need for you to make documentation. Even if you don't, the person will tell you, please give me this and this for me to have as an evidence that I bought this from you. And don't forget, you should have minimum of 2 staff strengths. If you, in the case of SMEs, not the firm now, in the case of SMEs. So now you pay the staff, you just give them money blindly, you don't tell them, come and sign something.
Okay, like if you...
So it's an evidence.
Okay, for small businesses that we are operating, you find out that you don't record the salary. You just put it in the envelope and give it to your staff without maybe without a receipt or anything. You just give it to him because it's a small business.
Okay, let's assume you don't receive or give any acknowledgement for the salary. Like I said, you buy other items. You go to the market, that's for sure. So you buy other items, so there should be a receipt, a documentation, okay? Any other question?
Thank you for your question. I like the question because they allow us to clarify. So you say there is no, records of the people you give salary. But when you submit your application online, you tell us that you hire 2 people. Maybe it's worth mentioning that as part of the process for selecting firms, we will come and do verifications. So if you say you are registered with CAC, for those of us that say we are registered with CAC, we'll check with CAC. If you say that you have 2 people working for you, we will do calls, we will do visits. In some cases, we need to verify that address you gave us is actually, even if it's your house, that is actually where you are, your business is located and you are doing business. When we come to your business premises, even if it's your home, if there are 2 people working for you, we'll see the people working for you. So again, as we said, we understand that, many of our businesses are not quite at that level where we keep records for everything. But even if that's not the case, there's always a way to confirm that what you said is actually the case. So that's what I would say. But again, this is even just good practice. If you pay people and you don't keep a record somewhere, at least we've given you tip today, somebody will say, don't say I've not helped you. Buy an exercise book.
Sorry about this. In regards to this occasion you really mentioned, one of our brothers said something here. We want to form a cooperative, which initially is not registered, and you've been into the business for quite a long period of time. Now we want to reorganize and regroup themselves. So you made mention of verification. So if they have verifiable business activities 12 years before 12 years old, 2 years, 2 years period to now, or a year period to now,
they are eligible.
They are eligible, but he made mention it and the facilitators said they are not qualified. So I was a bit confused. Okay. They want to register now and they've been into the business for quite a longer period of time, and you have the verifiable indices that these people are into that business.
Let me clear his question. Let him also clarify.
All right.
His question is this: you were running business independently. He is running his own independently. I am running my own independently. Now, because we head of grade today, we have to today let us come together and form a cooperative.
The cooperative is not eligible.
It's just 2 days old. It's not eligible. That was his question. Okay.
But
okay, that's why I was confused.
But if it's an association that's only formally registered this year, but like you said, 3 years, 10 years, you've organized yourselves together, even if it's informally. There are records. We can see you'll be meeting. Maybe you'll even be making contributions. The record will be somewhere. You show us.
Bank statement.
There's verified evidence that you guys have been operating. Even if you only just got formalized 2 days or 6 months, even just this month for the application, we'll need to see what will work with this tangible evidence that you've been operating. And then, as we said, it is at the stage of the grants that if you are not formally registered, the journey stops for you. So, Amos, or are there any other questions or comments as I take the mic back so that we can...
Thank you, Mr. Amos. Thank you very much, representative of the Honorable Commissioner distinguished ladies and gentlemen, other protocols observed. It is time for us to do our post-test. We have done the pre-test. We have put down what we know about the project before listening to the presentations. Now, we have listened to the presentations, we have asked our questions. So I believe we know more. So we need to do the post-test now. And our ushers will go around and give you the post-test. The post-test is exactly like the pre-test. So when we look at your scores, we're able to see how far we've been able to uplift your knowledge. And then the ushers will also give you an evaluation form. The evaluation form now is to assess your satisfaction with this workshop. I think there are just 13 questions there, and it will take you something like 8 minutes to complete. So please, as soon as you get the 2 forms, each person will get a post-test form and an evaluation form. Kindly complete them, then we'll collect them back, and then we'll continue. Just hold on, please. Thank you.
My name is Gombe State. I'm the IT and CRM officer for the Brain Movement Nigeria project. I'll be taking you through the application processes and platform for the Brain project. Particularly, I will be demonstrating live how you apply. You are a business, where you are an SME, a business association, or a lead firm. As you all know, the website, we have information on the 3 categories of potential beneficiaries. That is the SMEs, the women-led or owned SMEs, the lead firms, and the business association. Just a brief, I know the project manager and my other colleagues have already spoken about what the project is about. So I'm not going to go much into that. My own session is going to be more of a practical process on how you are going to interface with the online registration form when you apply for to be among the potential beneficiaries. Before that, as you can see on the slide, I think the project manager mentioned this one. So this is just a brief about the Brave Women Nigeria project. She has already mentioned that it's a multi-donor fund that has been implemented by WAFE, and it's currently being run, or it's been done in Yemen. We are thinking of running it in Burkina Faso, and we are currently running it in Nigeria, in 3 states in Nigeria. Of course, the 3 states in Nigeria are Edo, Gombe, and Kano states. This is the second workshop that we'll be having. We had one earlier in the week, rather earlier in the month, in Kano, where we also demonstrated the same processes for registration. So without going into the slide, I'll be very close to my computer so that I'm able to show you all how to apply through the process. Let me mention here that applications have already started pouring in. So we started receiving applications from the dates we opened the forms. Without further ado, let's go straight to the website itself where we have the registration form. Thank you very much. As you can see, the domain name for the Brave Women website is bravewomennng.com. Any other domain is not for the Brave Women Project Nigeria, so you should be careful with it. It's bravewomennng.com. So once you type bravewomennng.com, you are taken to the website. This is exactly how it looks. For the purpose of this session, we are really concerned about the registration form. That is when you apply. Of course, you can apply from the home page. Wherever you see register, the CTA that says register, you can easily click on it and it will take you directly to the registration form where you fill in your details. We've sectionalized the registration processes. So there are 3 categories of potential beneficiaries. So let's just go through the process. I'll use, after going to the website by typing in your address by bravewomennng.com, I'll simply click on register to take us to the registration page. Now the registration landing page, as you can see, is very important because it contains lots of instructions and information. So for every category of our potential beneficiaries, we have a list of requirements that you are expected to upload to make before your application can be successful. And then, as we have already pointed out, it's an online application, and for each application, there are questions that are required. So, as you know now, we have the women-owned / small and medium-scale enterprises. That is the SMEs. So if you fall under the SMEs, I think the CAC which have explained what an SME is. If you fall under the SME, so you should be going for the first box there. Now, if you are in this first, you should be looking at the second box. And if you are a business association, you cannot look at them very well. But under each box is specific instructions for that category. So, for instance, under women-owned / small and medium, under the SMEs, we have the first thing there So the grant available to SMEs is between 5,000 to 15,000 USD. So you already know the matching grant that is available for USD. Also, for other categories, you have 40,000 to 50,000 USD and so on. So under SMEs, there's also some definitions of what an SME should be and what we expect. So we have first of all, the SME must be located in any of the project states. So the project states are Gombe, Kano, and Edo states, as I've mentioned earlier. Then just the women-owned and so on and so forth. I think my colleagues have already spoken on that. So I'll go straight to apply the application process. So to apply, basically what you need to do is simply click on the apply button. So you could either go underneath any of the requirements and click on apply, or you simply, the card will flip and you just click on apply. So once you move your cursor to any of the boxes, the card flips and you click on apply. So depending on what you belong or what you think your business belongs to, you click on that. Also, before I forget, there's also required documents. So it's important I mention this because it's an online platform. There are some requirements, so you need to get them in either PDF, PDF is simply the document format, so or JPG, that is picture format. You could use your phone to snap your credentials. For instance, if you look under the first box, we have SMEs, and some of the things that are listed here are things like certificate of incorporation from CAC. So you have your CAC and you want to take it to digital format. You have a smartphone with a camera, you can snap it, and of course once you snap that, that's your document. It stores it as a JPG format, so that is allowed. So you could simply upload that. But mind you have to be careful with the size. Try and compress your size, the entire file, to not be more than 10 MB. Is that you have all your documents ready before starting the application process. So you create a folder on your desktop and have all the required documents. The required documents are listed just underneath on the registration landing page. What I mean by that is the page we are currently on, bravewomen.com/register. So once you go there, you go down to these boxes. So if you're an SME, you are in the first box and you see what is required, the documents that will be required from you. So for an SME, we will need you to provide a certificate of incorporation from CAC, SMIDAN certificate, company brochure with list of products and services, and so on and so forth. If you are in this firm, simply click on the next box and it takes you certificate of incorporation, annual report from unaudited accounts, list of SMEs, bank statements for the last 12 months. So once you have those requirements down, I've told you how you can get them in digital format. If you have them physically, you can snap them and send them to your computer or just save them somewhere on a folder, then get them ready. The other things are just required questions you need to answer as you go. So I would just like to demonstrate the process so that we see how it is, how transparent it is and how it goes. So to start with, I can pick any category. So let's assume, do we go with business associations, lead firms, or SMEs? SMEs. Okay, thank you very much. So assuming we are SMEs, so I go to the box under SMEs and I click apply. I wait for it to look. Is that we have the registration form segmented into 5 categories for the SMEs. So the first is your personal information, the personal information of the firm owner. The second is the firm's information. The third is the grant matching requirements. The fourth is the business performance in 2020. Then the final one is the general information. For lead firms and business associations, they are all different. So you could have more questions in the SME if you are an SME. So just go to your category and you answer the questions. then you submit. Now, we are going to go through the process of submission, and now that we are here, so I will just use this SME as an example to fill the form. So the first question here says name. So I will just use the sample name. So just to be fast, so I say my name is test name. The next box says gender. So once we click it, it's a drop down box. So we are able to select whether we are male or female. Remember, whatever you pick would be used in judging your application at the end of the day. So you just have to be truthful. The date of birth, once we click on it, you have a date field that comes up. So you pick your date of birth. Of course, you can always go back with the buttons on the side. So if I was born in 1990, I would just go up, down, so I pick a date and my date of birth appears. The mobile number, you fill in your mobile number, that's the mobile number of the SME. So it's already Nigerian format, so you make sure if you don't type it correctly, you cannot proceed. So I'll put the dummy number here. The next is the email address. So I'll use the test email address. Of course, again, you have to fill an appropriate email address, otherwise you cannot proceed because of our validation. The next is the address. So this is the personal address, so you fill in the address. So I'll just use the test address. We have no formal education as an option. First school living certificate, senior school certificate, bachelor's or postgraduate degrees. So you just select the appropriate one and you click on next. Once you click on next, it takes you to the next tab. So first information. If what you have entered in the first instance or in the first phase wasn't correct or is incomplete, it won't allow you to go to the next stage. So you have to fill in the right details for the first stage. So once you click next, it comes to this stage. Then we're going to use also name of organization. We are just going to use dummy text again, text organization. State where organization is registered. If you click on it, you see a list of Nigerian states there. So you pick the states where organization is registered as it is on your documents. So I would say it's registered in Gombe State. State where organization operates. I would say it still operates in Gombe State. Address of organization. I'll use test address. The next question says type of business. So we need to specify the nature of work. So examples are given there. Maybe it's a dental clinic, school, or a bakery. You can list your, I'll just say bakery. Then organization phone number. It has to be 11 digits, the same your organization phone number. Organization email, we use test. Now, another required question says, do you have a TIN? TIN, tax identification number. So if you have, it's a yes or no question. So you just click on the box there and it will give you yes or no. So if you have a TIN, you say yes, if no, no. So I just click no. Sorry, ma'am. If you don't have, you say no. If you have, you just simply pick yes. So it's not yet for us to judge why you need to have a TIN number. So if you don't have, you say no, and you move on.
Because I think I understand the question.
having a TIN number doesn't exclude you. But as we said, it's the same thing with the... Okay, so it's the... Gombe, thank you. And thank you for that question. So just like the registration with CAC, if you have your TIN number with FIRS, it's ideal. That means you're formal and all of that. But if, for whatever reason, you don't have it yet, it doesn't exclude you at this stage. But by the time you are putting in your grant application, just as we need to see you registered with CAC, also being registered to pay tax is a statutory requirement for businesses. So you need to have your TIN number. I don't know if FIRS is here in the room with us. They can clarify more on that. I know that the tax liability for SMEs, for micro, small, and medium enterprises is actually very minimal. Again, I don't want to, what was that quote? I don't want to say something and then FIRS counteracts, but as far as I'm aware, 3,000 naira a year or so is the amount that's supposed to be filed as tax returns for every MSME as a requirement. Of course, if your liability is higher than that, it's for FIRS and you to decide. But for us on the project, by the time you are applying for your grant, there are certain statutory requirements, and the TIN number, is one of those requirements.
This is the organization sector, so it's also a drop down. Once you click on it, you can pick your organization sector. We have the commercial, service, industrial, production, or if you don't belong to any of them, you just simply click others. The next question says value chain sector. You pick your sector, it's also a drop down. Let's assume we are health. The next question says, due to the current situation, did you change your field of work to keep your organization going? It's a yes or no question, I guess. So you pick yes or no. So the reason I'm picking no is that at times when you pick yes, further questions come out. So depending, so it's a dynamic size. So if you say no, but then you should respond as appropriate. What is the size of your organization based on the number of clients? We already have a list of clients here. So if your organization is 1 to 4, 5 to 19, 20 to 99, from 99 and above, so you just simply pick it. The number of permanent employees, males. So you tell us the number of employees you have. So I'll say 23. Number of employees, permanent employees, females, you tell us. I'll say 56. The permanent employees' average annual salary in Naira. So you tell us what is the average salary, annual salary you pay your permanent employees. I'll say 40,000. So it's already in Naira, so I don't. So the number of temporary workers, males, so I'll just be 30. The females, same thing. It's important we go through the whole question because every question is required, so we cannot really skip a question. So temporary workers, so if you don't have any of this, you can easily enter 0, and of course the application will allow you to proceed. Temporary workers available annual wage, so let's say this. And next question is, do you employ IDP workers? It's a yes or no question, so you simply pick. If I pick yes, the next thing I say is, if yes, please select the number of male IDP workers. So I'll just go back there and pick no to proceed so that we don't waste our time. So, what is the organization's capital in Nigerian Naira? You simply type in your capital. Then you click on next. So it goes over to the third phase. So the question here says, do you have, and this is the grant matching requirement stage. So this is where you answer questions that are related to the grant matching. Do you have the ability to pay 50% of the matching grant in case you receive it? It's a yes or no question. So if you do, you say yes, and other questions come on. In case you have answered with yes, what is the sum of you can contribute? you can tell us the sum you can contribute. So if it is 2,000 to...
Find somebody from IDP.
Alright.
It does not give you any advantage.
I know that, so please, I will respond to every question. Very much. Hold on, please. I will respond to your question at the end of my presentation. So let's not so we don't waste time. Just, I will respond to all your questions. Now, if you don't have a bank account, you say no. But I'm going to say yes here. Now, when you say yes, the next question is, in case you answer with yes, please specify the bank. So there's a list of banks there. If it's any of them, you simply pick them. So Access Bank, Jais Bank, SunTrust Bank, Wema Bank, those are our partner banks. Or you simply put order. So I'm going to pick Access Bank here. The next question is, if the contribution that you can make is less than $5,000 US, can you take funding to pay the contribution amount for the partner bank? Yes or no? So I say no. Do you have documents as evidence of your business? Yeah, you could have a rent contract, as already mentioned by my colleagues. So if you have your rent, it's also a document. I've told you how you can digitalize it and submit it here. So your answer should be yes, if you have a document. If not, you say no. When was the business launched? It's a date field, so you just pick the date the business was launched. For example, when was the last renewal of the business? You simply pick the date. So to put the date in, you already know how to navigate the date. So how many innovations did you introduce? So this is the business performance in 2020, where you asked questions about that. How many innovations did you introduce in 2020? The exact number. It can be innovative products. There's a description underneath it that explains what we mean by that question. It can be innovative products, process or services new to this sector or in the whole Nigeria state. So if none, you can enter 0. So I'll simply enter 0 if I have no innovations on here. How many new products or services did you introduce in 2020? Exact number. I'll pick a number. How many new markets did you access in 2020? So these are all number fields, so you just pick a number. Was your business affected by lockdowns due to COVID-19 in 2020? It's a yes or no question. So if yes, more questions will come out, so let's just pick no for now. But of course, we pick the appropriate one when we are filling the form. What were the effects of the lockdown on your business, operations, and performance? So you are going to tell us the effects of the lockdown. So if there's no effects, you simply put in no effect, or whatever is effect that you list them there. Have you secured any funding from financial institutions in 2020? And if we say yes in this question, other questions will come out. So we have something like, if yes, how much? So you have to write the currency, the amount and the currency. So I'll say no. What were your sales in 2020? The exact amount indicates the currency. So if you are trading in dollars, you have to put it there and everything. So let's assume this. What was your profit? We have also explained what profit means. The exact amount indicated in currency. Profit is the income when all the firm's expenses are deducted from the revenue. So I'll just use a dummy. Remember to put your currency there. How many new jobs did you create in 2020? Male. So the exact number for each one. Female. How resilient do you feel your business was in 2020? So we already have a drop-down field to just save you the stress of typing. So you pick whether it's very resilient, moderately resilient, slightly, or you don't even know. So you just pick whatever. Is your business a member of a business association? Yes or no? But before I even proceed to submitting the application, I want to mention that for the application platform, basically, we don't just have the website and the registration form. We also have what we call a CRM. So we have a CRM that is designed to store the information coming from this registration form. So that CRM will store all your information, your documents, and even the vendor's information. After you pick a vendor, if you are successful, and other related information. So it will help the grand judging panel which is a panel that will be set up that will consist not only of the brave project manager, but also of the BOI staff, the partner banks, and some other elites. So these are the people we are going to share the information with. We are not going to reveal your financial information to any other person, so it's going to remain with us. So we take note of that. And the final thing is just to click on submit. So once you click on submit, okay, so you see thanks for contacting us. It means your submission has been done. So we now have your information as an SME. So it goes directly to the CRM. And also there is what we call a dashboard for the final application process. So that is going to reveal all the selected beneficiaries and everything. So it shows the transparency of the process and every other thing. So as I said, I'll hand over to the project manager to speak more on this. If you have any questions, please you can start asking. But basically, this is how you apply for the project, and these are the application processes.
Thank you very much for that question. Sorry for that presentation. So Mr. Uche has shown us what the website looks like. So we've been saying go online and apply. This is what the platform looks like. If you see anything that doesn't look like this, please reach out to us and confirm. We know that there are people who do funny things online these days. But this is how the platform looks. And as we said, the deadline for applications is the 17th of July. So please, if you haven't already, start putting your documents together. For those of us that want to sort out the registration, the formalization process, let's go to CAC. Team numbers I know are not difficult to get. You walk into any of the FIRS offices, there are people there, in fact, they want us to come in and register. Within 30 minutes or whatever, most times they've, given you your team. So please, let's start gathering our documents, our evidence. For those of us that are not quite ready for the formal, process yet, before the submissions, gather, your bank statement, go to the bank, get your bank statement, get your proof of physical residence. So even if you are doing business from home, get something that shows us, your proof of address. This is where you are. Those of us that have audited statements, if you have that, attach that. But again, as we've said, it's not required. So let's put all those things together. Let's visit the site. If we are having challenges, the BOI office is there. Brave PMU, you can reach out to us. And we're here to guide and support you through the application process. So you have your hand raised.
What if my product does not concern with NAFDAC?
If your product is not concerned with NAFDAC, is it a required field? Yes, so I think there was a drop list saying...
Maybe I'm in a textile business.
If you're in textiles, then you don't have any business with NAFDAC. NAFDAC is for those of us that produce anything somebody takes into the body. So medicines or drinks or food items. If you are not in business that involves production or value adding on those kind of products, you and NAFDAC have no business.
Egg producing, egg manufacturing, that's poultry.
No, so somebody doing poultry, it's food.
Yes.
So NAFDAC, you would have business with NAFDAC, I imagine.
No, when I'm doing poultry, it is the chicken that will lay the eggs. I'm not the one that will lay the eggs. So,
if you are in a business where you are supplying food items, again, let me not get into what is not my business. If you know you deal with food items, it's in your interest to have a conversation with NAFDAC. But again, as I know, if you are producing something that people are going to consume, NAFDAC will, have something to say about how you do your business. Even if it's flour that you are selling, somebody is going to eat that food, flour at some point. NAFDAC would be interested. So in cases where you are not sure, it is always better to talk to them and then they tell you, no, you don't need.
As from now to 17th of next month, looking at the processes, there are a lot of things that need to be put in place. Is there an option designed on the website? If some certain items are not at the registration period, which you can later take or for instance, venues. You submitted some venues which later on you will believe they cannot deliver. Is there an option for somebody to lead and look fresh items based on the presentation of the slide?
That's a good question. The way this is designed, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Godwin. In fact, no, Mr. Godwin, let me hand over the mic to you. It's a technical question. So, can somebody start application, pause, and then come back, and then complete before they submit?
Thank you very much. As you said, the deadline is actually the 17th. Yes, but you have to note that the submission of the required documents, if it's necessary, you need to get them because you will not be allowed to proceed. So you cannot actually submit your form if you don't have those required documents. So that's the first thing. Then there's no vendor here. So we are in the process of applying. So you are not submitting. Nobody. I don't think there's any field for submission of vendor requirements. So you are not submitting. You are just submitting for you to be among the select.
And again, just to say, like I pointed out, for us right now, what we really need to see is evidence that you've been in operation for at least 12 months. That includes proof of address, your financial records. We need to see proof of woman leadership or ownership in cases of women-owned and led SMEs. So we've given the general, what we need to see is evidence of that. As we've said, we know that some of us, it's only a bank statement that we may be able to show, to show that there's been money moving in and out. Some of us have audited financials, but if you don't, it's not a requirement. It would be nice if you have your TIN and your CAC, but if you don't, at this stage, it's not a requirement, right? If you have it, you attach it. If you don't, a simple note explaining that you've not formally registered yet, but you are in the process of getting it is enough. You attach that, right? Again, we understand and we know these things, but for those who are formally registered, please submit whatever licenses or documents that you have.
Thank you. I want to ask, what if I decide to register for, instead of the lead, I decide to register for the SMI, the Small Business Association, and I don't want to go to the big places. And when you open the portal, you can just click on anyone and just send in. Does it?
So I guess you missed that part of the presentation. When you come to the registration page, there are actually 3 categories. So if you want to apply as an SME, you click on that. All the questions, everything that will come up, the documents you will need to submit are those that are relevant to that category. If you start applying and at some point you decide, no, this isn't what I want, you can stop the process. Before you submit, you can stop the process and then come back here, click on the category that you decide to apply under and go through the relevant form for that process.
What if you have submitted for the first one? Have all the documents?
You submit and then you change your mind. Well, we're nice people. We won't tell you you cannot cancel. You reach out to us, you let us know, and then we know that we are not to consider or process the application you submitted, and then we wait for you to submit the application for the other category. So, I mean, it's fairly straightforward. Do we still have time for questions, Mr. Edwards? Because I'm seeing hands at the back.
We don't want to take most of our time again because we have exceeded our time, and I know a lot of us have other businesses to do. Permit me at this juncture to call on Honorable Jadu Gaga to give us a closing remark. He is representing the president of the Gombe Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
The representative of the Promotional of Commerce and Industry. Officers of the high table, I understand that the corporate affairs representative is here. Of course, Bank of Industry must also be here, and other status of government, the participants, ladies and gentlemen. So it's my director of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, then Chairman of Miners of Gombe State, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. As I earlier introduced myself, my name is Jalo Angelaga. I'm standing for the President of the Chamber of Commerce and the Vice President, which I told you is unavoidably absent. First and foremost, I would like to start by thanking God Almighty for giving us the opportunity to be here this morning up to our time during this program. Sincerely thank God for giving us life and it's an opportunity to witness this very, very important workshop and value addition workshop. Secondly, I want to use this opportunity also to thank the federal government of Nigeria for signing the identity agreement between the federal government, the Islamic Bank, and the Bank of Industry, which is really targeting and focusing on women empowerment by giving them the opportunity under this platform to see how we can boost the economic potential and opportunities for women here in Nigeria. Secondly, I want to use that opportunity again to thank the federal government of Nigeria for choosing Gombe State as one of the 3 states to pilot this exercise. This is a really a good opportunity for us in here in Gombe State and to thank the opportunities given to us. Because I understand that so many states are struggling to get this thing. But for federal government to decide and to, in fact, we are representing the North this year when you look at it critically. We have Promotional, we have Yobe, we have Elmo, we have Ochi, and here in Gombe. When you look at it, you are talking of even the issue of incidences that we are talking about. There are some areas that are more critical than ours. So this is a very, very good opportunity for the people of Gombe State to quickly tap in to see how we can benefit from this program. Indeed, we cannot forget the Islamic Development Bank for providing this platform and providing financial grant. It's not really loan, because when you say issue loan on interest rate, it's like a grant. Once you fulfill this requirement, I'm very sure they are willing to disburse immediately. So it's another opportunity for us to really thank the bank, Islamic Bank, and also I will not forget the Bank of Industry, of course, the drivers of this exercise. Without them, we cannot move. Whatever we are going to do, we have to get a driver who can direct us to take us where we intend to go. So Bank of Industry will really thank you very much for giving us this insight and for educating us to do much more to understand what is happening here. Of course, what the state government is a platform where we are here. We have to sincerely thank the government of the state for providing security and enabling ground for us to be here. In some places, they don't have that opportunity to sit down and do this kind of exercise. So we really thank the state government and the government of the state for providing all these opportunities. Indeed, the organizers have really done well. You can see the environment. When I go through the questionnaires, I understand that they will ask whether we can comment yes or no, very good, excellent, or whatever. If you go through my questionnaire, you will understand that my recommendation is excellent, excellent, excellent for the organizers, because they have done very well. When you see the environment, you know that it's a very conducive one. Then, of course, the participants. When you look at the participants, you know they are really serious. Everybody is serious there for you to do whatever is being done, to come and sit down to understand what is happening. If we are not serious, we can't be here. Because there are some other organizations, some other this kind of platform that they come to do one or two projects there. They are not as serious as this one because some of them are more political. You will see them either poverty alleviation, distributed rights, poverty alleviation, and all this kind of things. You see people crowding place. They don't even have any direction. They have for whatever they want is just to get rights or palm oil or granule or whatever to take it back to their home. But this is a capacity building exercise. Whether you succeed to do this thing or not, you know you have added value to your knowledge. And indeed, we're all ambassadors here. I expect us whenever we learn here, we'll go home and educate other people on the state that are not opportunity to be here. We quickly motivate more people to come in and register because the more we register, the more we encourage them to show them that what we said is very serious. Finally, I want to say that each and every one of us, my fellow colleagues, they are also here, the media, and everybody that is here. We sincerely thank God for giving us this opportunity and wish every one of us joining this back to our various destinations. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this wonderful vote of thanks. Before we draw the curtain close, let me hand over the mic to the state manager for Bank of Industry in person of Aminu Barden James. Barden James.
All right, thank you very much. James Barden, Bank of Industry, Gombe State office. Before giving my closing remarks, I just want to address an issue raised earlier by our sister over there, when you talked about poultry and fishing. I feel it's very important I talk about it. Brave project is leveraging on the platform provided by Bank of Industry to reach out to Brave, to your program. Okay, sorry. Yes, but for what you are talking about, primary agriculture falls under the purview of Bank of Agriculture itself. But in the agri-value chain, BOI is involved in poultry and fishery. If you take the fish, it has an entire value chain in itself. From buying the fingerlings, the medication, and the feeds, then you talk about maybe upgrading or upscaling to smoking, and probably you want to have a cold room where you keep fresh stock for sale. BOI does that. You go to the poultry value chain again, it's the same thing. From the day-old chicks to the feeds, and there are those who are just into processing. They buy off and process for sale. There are those who are also into just hatchery. That's just what I want to do. Hatchery and nothing else. There are those, of course, that will tell you that it's just broilers and the cycle continues. So if that is what you're interested in doing, Bank of Industry is where you should come to. Now, I come to my closing remark. And my closing remark is going to just be around this. Business resilience assistance for value-adding enterprise. The first that catches my mind is value-adding. When I look at value addition, the first thing that comes to my mind is the woman. Man, and you have a woman in your life, there's a change. The woman makes you. The value she adds to your life as a man are innumerable. Apart from the children, apart from helping out in ensuring that the home front is better taken care of. A man with 1,000 naira, you tell him to prepare a soup, a pot of soup. He tells you what is not there. Give a woman 300 naira and you will be shocked. To me, that is value addition. The mother and all. Then the next thing that comes to my mind is resilience. When you see the word resilience, you want to see resilience, don't go to the dictionary. To me, resilience is the woman. She's tough, she's persistent, and when you check the dictionary, resilience takes you back to where you were before you fell. And the only person that has that capacity is the woman. She's tough. She weathers the storm, in the cold, in whatever. She wakes up before the man. Any house you go to, and the man wakes up before the woman, there's a problem. The woman, there's no house you go to and you see a woman asleep at 5:30 a.m. She's already awake to ensure the children are ready for school, to make sure that there's breakfast on the table, and even wakes up the husband to bath, to go to work. I drive out sometimes as early as 6 a.m. when I have to travel. The people who clean the roads are women. Give that kind of a job to men, and so many men have given up. But I know there are mothers who are saying, if I have to sleep and die, my child must continue school. To me, that is resilience. And so, for this program you have come to, I assure you, go with I can do it spirit. They have listed out documentation that are looking very challenging, but I assure you, with the little training you have, and from time to time you will have more trainings, you will be able to make it. Thank you, Brave, for coming to Gombe. And I will close by telling you something. I've been in middle management in the Bank of Industry for upward of 10-15 years. 95% projects I have financed for women have succeeded. I've gone to businesses where the men will tell me that, James, honestly, payment tight, but I know if you face my wife, tell her say I never pay her. That is the woman. If you go to businesses where it's a partnership, a man and a woman, the man, you will discover that the woman makes the business pay the loan because of her presence. And when you give that loan to just a woman, she pays because she tells you she can't face her children and tell them that she's going. There's a lot to say about it, but I will stop here. Thank you very much. God bless you.
I think that clap is not enough. If you are a woman and you are in this house, you can do better for me. Thank you very much. Thank you for that wonderful closing remark. To me, I want us to wrap it up like this. Prove to me that all the qualities and the attributes of a woman that he has mentioned lies in you by flooding this portal with applications. I want to see more than enough application in that portal. Just as he said, I don't fail in my project. This is my 7th year in the humanitarian context. And all along, my interventions have been women, 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 women. So I want to see that we take more than what Kano we take. I want to see that we take more than what Edo we take. Let me give you a secret. Before now, we were looking at like Gombe, you know, we're dicing about. I just have to give them the secret. But today, I want us to prove today that we can do better in Gombe, than even in Kano and Edo. If I am the state manager, if I am the state consultant, please, let's make Brave project. Let's make our donors proud. Let's give our donors $1,000,001 reason to increase the number of women-owned or women-led SME here in Gombe State. Let's give them reason to give additional years to this project here in Gombe State. Today, we have come to the end of this promotional workshop.